Okay, so in my last class, I have explained about culture, society, right, and the civilization. So I'm just like, giving you little previous information. I'm revising. Okay, so what is society? Society has a culture. Okay, so what is actually happening? We interchangeably uses this term, society, culture, and civilization. So let me just give you quick clarification. How do we have society? Society comes into existence when we live in a group. So basically a social group. Okay, when this social group, we do have not many individuals. Okay, we all are sharing a territory. Okay, we are sharing a territory and people are related to each other. Let's just say by blood or by marriages. So it's a clan, but it's a group. How we get a group? Even me and you, even two person can create a group. So it's a social group. Now all these are members of this group. Let's just say this is the group A. Now all these people are the members of A group, right? Now these people are going to make a stability coexistence. So they are going to live in particular way, right? So for their survival, for eating food, they will have some mechanism. If it is hunting and gathering society, so they are going to hunt. So basically for their survival, they will do some activity. So activity which you are doing for your survival, it refers to economy. What is economy? Work. Okay. So economy. Now there are lot many people, and in economy it's basically resources. Right? So now there are lot many individuals. Definitely, as Gaetano Mosca argues, you people can write down the name, but later on I will explain in detail. Like, he is a famous Italian social cultural anthropologist. As Gaetano Mosca says, that whensoever we live in a group, it is but natural there will be some individuals who would be more talented. So they would be more talented to lead a group. Since they are going to do a lot of hard work and they are talented and they would be leading a group, it is natural that they would get some power. Now with power, they will going to have legitimate authority. What is legitimate authority? That they are going to be accepted as a leader. So power, politics is natural. You live in a group, you will find a power structure. This is what Gaetano Mosca argues. So when there is a power structure, then what we are doing? There is politics, polity. And then since there are people involved, male, females, and there will be reproduction, so we may have family. Okay, so family, in anthropology, we know that family comes out of mating, that is marriage, union. Okay, controlling of your sexual rights, that is marriage basically. Okay, so marriage, family, and then you'll become one group, kinship. So what am I doing? I'm explaining that once we live in a group, so there are lot many activities which we do, and that activities, that whatsoever activities, adaptation, survival skills we are having, that makes what? That makes a particular way, and that way is being transferred to the next generation. So all the children who are living in this group, through the process of enculturation. What is the term? Enculturation. We will read it later on. Enculturation is that I'm born in Indian society. Whether I will have my parents or not, even if I am an orphan, अगर मैं orphan भी हूँ, ठीक है, समझ में आ रहा है, तब भी I will imbibe Indian culture only. I will not act like some Goras. I will act like Indians only because I am living among Indians. So often aspirants get confused with the distinguish between enculturation and socialization. You don't get confused. Socialization is the way we are socializing our children. The way I am teaching my daughter, okay, I am socializing her. So they are different agents. School is also a part of socialization. Enculturation can also happen naturally without even having agents. So sometimes I do not teach my daughter anything. For example, I do not teach her anything related to this videos, this social media. She's on Instagram, she's doing this and that, okay, and she's imbibing a lot many other activities which I am not teaching her, but she is learning because she's being a part of Indian culture, being part of this environment. So because we are cognitive critical thinking being, we learn on our own also. That is a process of enculturation. Okay, so now what I am emphasizing here, since we live in a group, we acquire certain ways of living. ठीक है, तो अब ये जो ग्रुप है, what just a moment. You're actually absolutely right. Because of this pollution, no, I'm every 24/7 now I'm having pain in my throat. Though I am having chronic problem in my throat, but now in winters I think ये थोड़ा सा और बढ़ गया है. So it is there. Anyhow, so what I'm just trying to explain here, that since you're living in a group, okay, and then you are making a mechanism, you need to have a coexistence. This group will take a shape of society. How? So in a course of time, we will have acquired ways of living. You will not find this definition in any book because this is, I am explaining in my original ideas. It's my own original ideas after definitely reading lot many sociology or anthropologist work, after conducting research on my own. This is my way of explaining that how do we get a lecture, sorry, culture. Now this is what I really need to repeat to all of you, that when you people are taking any classes, don't go for this, somebody who is just giving you explanation by reading and quoting the work. You also have to see that whether that person is it's I would say whether that person can actually tell you something in his or her own ideas. Okay, so if that person is able to tell you something on their own idea, that you have to actually write, because that is going to give you unique perspective. If that person is able to produce his own ideas, that is what you need to know. So here what I am explaining, that since we are living in a group, in a course of time, we acquired certain characters, certain ways of living. This certain ways of living further takes a shape of culture. Why culture? Because now this ways of living is going to transfer from generations to generation. So this way of life will take a shape of a culture. Why culture? Because of its transmitting characteristics to the next generation. Now, when you are having some fixed identities of doing your activities. So let's imagine that now we are living in Vedic society. So if I have to worship, so this A hypothetical group is going to worship Vishnuji only. So all these members of a group is going to worship only Vishnuji. और शिव, राइट। तो जो भी शिव और विष्णु को वर्शिप कर रहा है वो इस वो क्या है, मेंबर है इस ग्रुप का। नाउ व्हेन वी आर ईटिंग, सो वी आर अबेंडनिंग नॉन वेज, तो हम नॉन वेज अबेंडन कर रहे हैं। ओके, हम शादी फिर 7 फेरे लेके करते हैं। ओके, तो हमने कुछ रिचुअल्स और कुछ फिक्स पैटर्न्स बना दिए हैं। अब ये क्या हो गया, ये कल्चर हो गया। तो एवरी सोसाइटी हैज कल्चर, इट इज एज सिंपल एज दिस। ओके, ये क्लियर हो गया। तो सोसाइटी एंड कल्चर इज नाउ क्लियर। कल्चर कैन ओनली कम व्हेन देयर इज सोसाइटी। तो सोशल ग्रुप अब है, अब एक आइडेंटिटी है। अब हमको थोड़ा और सोशियोलॉजिकल जाना है। एंड आई हैव टोल्ड ऑल ऑफ यू दैट among all the branches of anthropology, it is not biological, it is not archaeological, it is not linguistic, but social cultural part, जहां पे मैक्सिमम क्वेश्चंस आते हैं और जो ज्यादा क्रिटिकल और डिफिकल्ट है। ओके, बट यू डू नॉट हैव टू वरी बिकॉज ऑफ आई एम हियर। ओके, क्योंकि सोशियोलॉजी भी है, एंथ्रो भी है। एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस जोक, I mean, though it's not a joke, I have a confidence to teach you social, like social cultural part, the way you people are going to fetch lot of marks. But the point here is, it's also common sense. Biological anthropology जो भी है वो चेंज थोड़ी ना होगा यार। तो चार्ल्स डार्विन ने चार्ल्स डार्विन ऑर्गेनिक एवोल्यूशन जो उसने बोला है, सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट, एडेप्टिव रेडिएशन, इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू चेंज। We have to learn the facts. So as with Lamarckism, so as with Gauss principle, if I have to talk about DNA, so I am not doing any medicines ka study, I am not geneticist, all I have to see DNA ka structure with respect to evolution. So all these parts we may think it's difficult, तो पहली बारी इसको सुनने में लगता है, but once we are done, we have made our notes, it is going to be completed, right? But social cultural part, you need to think. It is just like the way you people need to prepare for your other mains ka part. Like for essay, you need to prepare, you need to think on your own. Even you are going to learn hundreds of quotes of philosophers, it will not help. Same with GS1, same with GS2 and 3 and ethics. It is same with your social cultural part. The only privileges or advantages which we have, वो क्या है, वो ये है कि सिलेबस हमको पता है, थिंकर्स हमको पता है, एंड PYQs मैं थ्रोली आप लोगों को करवाती हूँ इन योर टेस्ट सीरीज। तो आपका जो टेस्ट सीरीज स्टार्ट होता है वो पहले PYQ से स्टार्ट होता है, तो फिर आपको पैटर्न भी समझ में आ जाएगा कि अच्छा कौन कौन से UPSC क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल क्लिफर्ड गेट्स मुझे लगता है कि एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में फेवरेट है एंथ्रोपोलॉजी के, वो हमेशा क्लिफर्ड गेट्स से क्वेश्चन आता है ज्यादातर। ओके, यू कैन सी विक्टर टर्नर। ओके, तो उससे आपको एक थोड़ा सा पैटर्न समझ में आ जाएगा। इज दिस नाउ क्लियर? तो नाउ आई एम स्टार्टिंग विथ कम्युनिटी। व्हाट इज कम्युनिटी? लेट्स सी व्हाट क्लास 11th SCERT इज सेइंग। मैं आपको पहले एक्सप्लेन कर देती हूँ। कम्युनिटी में स्ट्रॉन्ग वी फीलिंग होती है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई एम इन इंडियन, राइट? We all are Indian, but we also have another strong connection, right? And what is that? It is with our religious community. So I belong to Hindu community, so I will have more inclination towards Hindu community or Christian community. You belong to Muslim community, you will have more inclination towards Muslim community. So you will feel more bad if something happens to your own community. Okay, you, for example, let's just say, yes, this community example I can explain with you from modern history. कितने बच्चों ने मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री पढ़ी है? बोलेंगे मैम अभी नहीं पढ़ा हमने, है ना? पढ़ा है, सबने पढ़ा है। 12वीं तक आ गए हो ना? 12th क्लास तक कर लिया है? अमेरिका से तो नहीं किया, इंडिया से किया है? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव कंप्लीटेड योर 12th इन इंडिया? नहीं, हो सकता है कोई बाहर से आया हो। कहाँ कहाँ किसने इंडिया से किया है? योर 12th, एवरीवन? तो मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री तो इंडिया की समझ में आती होगी। खिलाफत मूवमेंट, व्हाट इज खिलाफत मूवमेंट? हु विल टेल मी? आई रियली विश कि मैं एक मेरे पास ऐसी ना डंडी हो जो मैं ऐसे उसको पुश करूं, वो बहुत लंबी हो जाए, फिर एक पिटाई। ये मेरा सपना है कि मैं यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट्स को पढ़ा रही हूँ और मैं इतनी डिमांडेड टीचर हूँ कि बस आप लोगों को मुझसे कैसे भी पढ़ना है, तो फिर मैं आप लोगों का एडमिशन लेते हुए बोलूंगी कि मैं पिटाई भी करती हूँ, फिर आप लोग समझोगे हाँ मैडम पिटाई भी करती, फिर एक डंडी याद आएगी। नाउ टेल मी, खिलाफत मूवमेंट, एनीवन हु नोज एनीथिंग अबाउट खिलाफत मूवमेंट, चलो यही बता दो। एनीथिंग एनीथिंग, डोंट टेल मी एवरीथिंग बट कुछ तो बताओ। यस, दीपांशु इज राइटिंग। Because Khilafat movement can be a perfect example of a community. Yes, yes. And who supported Khilafat movement? Gandhi ji. So you people have to read the facts, what had happened, Khilafat movement, what it is. But Gandhi ji used it, okay, and he used it just to unite Hindu and Muslims in India. Now, what was happening? Something in, let's just imagine that this movement is taking place in India, but the root cause was not happening to Indian Muslims. Something, somewhere, let's just say somewhere कहीं और, ऑटोमन एम्पायर या फिर कुछ भी आप समझ लो, कहीं भी ऐसा एक दूर जगह मुस्लिम्स के अगेंस्ट कुछ गलत हो रहा है, लाइक यू नो कि ये हम कह रहे हैं कि इन कैलिफेट को हमने निकाल दिया, हटा दिया, दूसरे को हम बना रहे हैं, और जितने भी मुस्लिम्स हैं ऑफ द वर्ल्ड दे आर नॉट फीलिंग गुड अबाउट इट। खिलाफत मूवमेंट, ठीक है, वो आपको पूरा थोड़ा सा हिस्ट्री आपको समझना पड़ेगा, बट इट इज नॉट हैपनिंग इन इंडिया, समथिंग outside happening, okay, but Indian Muslims also were feeling bad about it. It is just like that खालिस्तान, खालिस्तान तो पता होगा अभी, लेट्स जस्ट, डज एनीवन नो, अभी यूएस में, यूके में, इन सब में ऐसे बाहर, अच्छा चलो ऐसे समझ लो सिंपल लैंग्वेज में, इफ एनीथिंग हैपेंस टू इंडियंस लिविंग आउटसाइड, एनआरआईज के साथ कभी कुछ गलत हो, तो डोंट यू फील बैड, यू विल फील बैड कि इंडियंस के साथ गलत हो रहा है, even though they are not living in India, but you will have that stronger connection. So this is what I'm trying to explain. So community is having more strongest we feeling, okay, you feel connected. Now let me just give you more evoking examples. If anyone would say anything to our gods, like शिव जी के लिए अगर कोई कुछ कहे बाहर, तो not only Hindus, I would say Indian Muslims will also feel bad because it's part of Indian culture. So community में your emotions are also involved. Is this now clear? Right? So in India, do we have multiple religious communities? India is multi-ethnic, multiculturalism is there. So you people have to understand this basic concept. बहुत आपको ना डे टू डे एग्जाम्पल से आपको आना चाहिए. आई मीन सी कंटेंट इज रिटन ओवर देयर, आप पीछे से कंटेंट देखोगे और आप रीड करोगे, आपको समझ में आएगा. Yes, please write down. I'm giving you 2 minutes. People can write down. Write on with example whatsoever I have just given. आप खिलाफत मूवमेंट की भी लिख लो साइड में, so that people can understand this. Okay? देखो खिलाफत मूवमेंट, by the way, it was by Indian Muslims, ये लिख लो. A political campaign by Indian Muslims. Dates लिख लो 1919, if I'm not wrong. Yes, it was 1919 only. 1919 to 19, I think 24. I can be wrong with facts, but मुझे जहां तक पता है 1919. to 1924. And disempowerment of the Ottoman Caliphate. और बाकी आप लोग खुद से देखोगे. Okay? Now, written this, now please read. So according to McKelver and Page, they are sociologists. आप इनका नाम read कर लेना. McKelver and Page. Community refers to a group, small or large, whose members live together in such way that they share the basic condition to common life. It is a small cultural system and its members derive their personal identity from their community membership. Caste and tribe are also an example of community. Okay, so I have given all example to you. Generally, they live in a geographical boundary, but geographical boundaries cannot be the only criteria. ठीक है? तो बेसिक्स में आपको जब आप थोड़ा फिलोसफिकल मैनर में समझते हैं, तो तभी मैंने आपको एक खिलाफत मूवमेंट का एग्जांपल दिया है to explain community, because generally if you'll see in books, so this is a role of a researcher also, right? So whenever I am seeing the basic books for anthropology, जो net पे बहुत famous है एंथ्रोपोलॉजी के लिए, राइट, फॉर यूपीएससी ऑप्शनल, उसमें बहुत मिस्टेक्स होती हैं, राइट. अब यहाँ पे आप देखो कि एससीईआरटी में इन्होंने क्या एक पॉइंट लिखा हुआ है, लिव इन अ कॉमन ज्योग्राफिकल बाउंड्री, बट सोशियोलॉजिस्ट और सोशल कल्चरल एंथ्रोपोलॉजिस्ट लाइक मी इन फिलोसफी जब हम बात करते डिबेट करते तो हम इसको नहीं मानते हैं. सो कम्युनिटी फीलिंग तो इट जैसे खिलाफत मूवमेंट में हुआ ना, व्हाई इंडियन मुस्लिम इज डूइंग समथिंग व्हिच इज हैपनिंग टू सम ऑटोमन कैलिफेट. ओके, so and share common economic resources, so all people possess the feeling of community sentiments, so it is like sentiments. ठीक है, समझ में आ गया कम्युनिटी. देन इंस्टीट्यूशंस, आई होप इंस्टीट्यूशंस मैं आपको इस एग्जांपल से समझा देती हूँ. जब हमने फैमिली को बात करी तो फैमिली इज अ इंस्टीट्यूशन, इकोनॉमी इज अ इंस्टीट्यूशन, पॉलिटी इज अ इंस्टीट्यूशन. इंस्टीट्यूशन क्या है आप इस तरीके से समझो, व्हाट इज सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशंस, प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दिस एंड राइट डाउन, क्योंकि एस्पिरेंट्स कभी कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं. सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशंस, इट्स 1919 ओनली ना. ओके, social institutions are actually, it is only your cultural, it is coming out of your culture only, but now you have made some rules and regulations. It is more now systematic. So family is now more systematic, religion is more systematic, so as marriage, family, kinship, religion, so yahi hai institution. But let's understand what class 11 SERT is saying. Do not get confused. ये NCERT नहीं है. जो मुझे लाइव सुन रहे हैं, it is not NCERT. ये है SERT, Kerala Board. So the aspects of culture that is governed by standardized way of behavior existing in a society is called institution. I would in fact ask you to write in your notes, write down these lines. ये वो कल्चर के एस्पेक्ट्स हैं जो कि एक स्टैंडर्डाइज वे ऑफ बिहेवियर में एग्जिस्ट करने लगते हैं इन अ सोसाइटी, इज कॉल्ड इंस्टीट्यूशन. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू रेडक्लिफ ब्राउन, इंस्टीट्यूशंस इन्वॉल्व सोशली approved pattern of behavior of members. It is guided by the norms, values existing in the society. So family is a social institution, and deviation from the rule is not permitted or accepted. The status and role of each individual in a society are also controlled by this institutionalized behavior. ओके, तो मैरिज में आप हस्बैंड है या वाइफ है, इकोनॉमिक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, पॉलिटिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, तो इंस्टीट्यूशन जो है वो ही डिसाइड करते हैं योर स्टेटस एंड रोल. तो इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज्ड बिहेवियर. ओके, क्लियर. So anthropologists study social institutions like family, marriage, kinship as cultural universals. In order to understand the culture of our given society, different institutions and its interrelationship must be studied. All the institutions are interrelated and integrated. Besides these social institutions, There exist different groups in each society which are known as associations. ठीक है, देयर एग्जिस्ट डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स. अब हम ग्रुप्स के बारे में आ रहे हैं. ठीक है, एसोसिएशंस जो आप लेटर लाइफ में एसोसिएट करते हो अपने आप को. ठीक है, तो एसोसिएशंस रेफर्स टू अ ग्रुप ऑफ पर्संस फॉर्म with a specific objective or a set of objectives. They are relatively small and localized. The members of an association try to of the social institution like family. Okay, each association has its own specific guidelines. ठीक है, association is like when you are growing up, you are becoming as like members of some student union. तो आप later on जो आप अपने आप को associate करते हो for having satisfaction of your needs. Okay, तो ये बहुत अलग ग्रुप होते हैं, इसमें प्राइमरी ग्रुप नहीं है ये. So it is a temporary group. It is not restricted to a particular area. In modern time, association are adaptive devices to fight for the rights of individuals and groups. तो ये हो गया आपका एसोसिएशन. कम्युनिटी हमने डिस्कस कर लिया. कम्युनिटी में इमोशंस इन्वॉल्व है, एसोसिएशंस में नहीं है. ग्रुप तो हमने पढ़ी लिया है, लाइक एसोसिएशन इंडिविजुअल्स विद कॉमन इंटरेस्ट जॉइन टुगेदर टू फॉर्म डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स. दो तरह के ग्रुप्स होते हैं. एक होता है प्राइमरी ग्रुप. हाँ, so primary group is like your family, local club and so on, and then you have a secondary group. Okay, group can also be based on relationships, so like your caste, club, clan, lineage, family, ये सब groups हैं. अब आप अभी मैंने बताया था कि स्टेटस एंड रोल कहाँ से आते हैं, इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज्ड बिहेवियर से. तो फैमिली, let's just say in a family institution, okay, so in a family institution I am married, so now I will have a status of a wife. So with a wife, if I am living in a patriarchal society, तो अगर मैं patriarchal society में हूँ तो मेरा रोल क्या होना चाहिए? हाँ, नहीं, मेरा अगर मैं patriarchal society में, तो मुझे सिर्फ अपने पति की पूजा करनी चाहिए. मेरा पति मेरा देवता है, भला है बुरा है जैसा भी है, बुरा ही है मेरा पति, बट उसकी पर मुझे क्या करना होगा? I have to worship. This is what I am not saying, but in patriarchy it is like that. I am not saying. Sociologists, I mean, though I am also a sociologist, it is there. In patriarchy, who rules? Male rules. So if I am in the institution of marriage, I am wife, I am subordinated, I am the one who has to say sorry, I am the one who has to cook. I mean, they do not know the basic skills of cooking, right? They do not know anything of survival. They are only dependent on their wife for everything, and the only point they think that they need to just serve the husband in whatsoever manner. Okay, so patriarchy is that you just have to remain only like a furniture. You don't say anything, you cannot question. That is point. Matriarchy, now in a society where matriarchy is happening, it's a vice versa. Now I am a boss, I will rule, and husband will act as a furniture. He has no identity. Okay, and his only job is to just give me a name. Okay, that you, now I'm married to you, now I got a child, it's fine, now you even get out. So most of the thing is there. So it's all about authority, but it is coming out of family institution and the marriage institution. So if I am married in a patriarchal society, I will have dominated, I mean, I will be having suppressed. Okay, I would be suppressed, I would be always subordinated, so my position is subordinated. So I am a wife but subordinated. Okay, so my roles will be submissive. Now again, I am marrying to, in a matriarchal society, my status is of wife, but I am having more authority. So Nair of Kerala, like in Kerala, you do have matriarchal society. Although being sociologist and anthropologist, I can tell you that in none of the mainstream society, we do not have matriarchal society. It's just in the name. Yes, in indigenous, in tribal societies, yes, there are some tribes where females are having not only dominating characteristics, with respect to taking decision. They are very masculine in their physical looks as well, you know, physical appearances as well. We'll talk about that. Okay, that when I would be discussing case studies. So now you can see that how in the institution of marriage and family I have a status. Now let me just give you very day-to-day examples. I am in a family, so I will have a status of a daughter, of a wife, of a sister, etc., etc. So my status will tell me my role. Okay, now what is the challenging for females? Basically not only females but males also, but ठीक है, क्या उनका क्या ही सोचना. kidding. अपना ही सोच लेते हैं. Females, right? What is the problem with females? Multiple roles, multiple expectation from society actually. So if I am a mother, I have all the responsibility to take care of a child, but also I'm a working, because you know I'm also changing. I also need to take care of my house also, because husband now they are not very good in making a lot of money. So females has to support them. They are not wealthy enough to support to give. So kya kare? But this is what I'm just trying to tell, just to make you laugh, because class is dominating with girls right now. Okay, so anyhow, but the point here is what I'm trying to explain. My role is being justified by my status only. So there is a problem, and there is people may can get a question on role conflict. Robert Martin is definitely writing exclusively on this topic, role conflict. So what will happen? See, I am also a mother, but I am also having a status of a researcher or a faculty. So my responsibility is towards UPSC aspirants also, and towards my daughter also. Or if I am an employee of any company, or if I am a sister, if I am mother. So different status is also giving me different roles, but then I will have a conflict. And I personally always have conflict, but I always take one position, that I am a mother. Simple. Why? Because I have brought a life into this world. I can be fine 70-80%, but 110% I am a mother. I can leave anything. Where I'm telling you, I'm just telling you this, that you know there are a lot many females. This is not even I'm saying. Caitlin Go is also arguing the same line, that the relationship of family is always between mother and child. And you would say the data suggests even after divorce, it is only the females who are taking care of the children, right? So that is why the laws are very soft towards female. And it's very, you would be surprised. I know lot many cases personally where husbands are not even willing to give any maintenance to their own child. Okay, so this is what I just want to tell this, that how the conflict would happen. So I may be an employee, I may be a daughter, but if it is, or wife or anyone, but then if it is, if I have to choose between my daughter responsibility or this responsibility, so what I will take? I am telling my personal thing as a mother, but this would, you would see that majority of Indian females, okay, irrespective how educated or whatsoever they are, if they do have emotions or Indian values, because nowadays not many females are not even willing to get married, forget about children. Okay, so that is their choice. I do not want to comment on that, but if they are having children, they would be more inclined toward their child. Why? Because values में भगवान बनाया गया माँ को, राइट? औरत क्या है? देवी है, माँ है. ओके, सो वैल्यूज में जब रिलीजन पढ़ाऊंगी तब आपको और डीपर वे में एक्सप्लेन करूंगी. No. In patriarchy, why? They live with a patriarchal husband only with their, because of their children.
Generally, how a child it could happen. Either husband or child, they will select the husband. Because husband generally are in many situations. Because husband will be with him with health for last. That's why they will select. Economically, even for flexible कमाएगा तो
Because of patriarchy, you're saying कि अगर husband, what you want to ask me is this, that अगर husband और बच्चे में किसी को choose करना है तो husband को choose करेंगे इन adult बच्चों में ना. हाँ, adult में तो definitely husbands हैं, छोटे बच्चों में नहीं. हाँ, so if my daughter is 18 years, 19 years, or she is settled, so I will तो definitely then only I will choose my daughter. Husband को क्या करना है उनका? I will not. I'm dependent. I'm not like dependent on him. No, I'm independent. तो basically we'll talk about family marriage kinship में अलग से, ठीक है? But status समझ में आ गया ना? So I am a sister, so I have different roles to play. So it is like that. But हम इसको बाद में और deeper way में पढ़ेंगे, ठीक है? तो status and role थोड़ा सा जल्दी से समझ लेंगे, because this is actually a part of your topic 2.2, okay? Social cultural part, paper 1. That's why I'm just giving explanation here. Then ascribed and achieved status, it's very easy to understand. Ascribed status, which is given to us by birth, okay? And then achieved, so you hopefully inshallah you people will become IS officer, so achieved status, ठीक है? तो ये तो easy है. I'm fine, like moving. Social structure and social organization. देखो structure मैं आप लोगों को बस एक simple way में बताऊंगी, क्योंकि structural functionalism is our topic. बहुत broader way में हमको पढ़ना है. Structure is like we do have this room, right? So this room has some functions to play. Now just see the parts of this room. You will see ceiling, you would see a teacher, you would see chair, you would see AC, you would see gate. So every part has specific roles to play. But all this makes sense only if it is having the class, like if it is playing a role in the functioning of class. For example, you people and I together are being a part of some mechanism, that is classes. अगर मैं नहीं रहूंगी तो क्या आप क्लास हो पाएगी आपकी? नहीं. अगर आप नहीं रहोगे तो मैं भी क्लास नहीं कर सकती हूँ. So now, or let's just take example. Right now, this blackboard is here, so it is being useful because it's a part of this classroom. अब ये blackboard हम कहीं बाहर रख देंगे सड़क पे, तो क्या हमारे लिए यूजफुल है? नहीं. सो स्ट्रक्चर इज मेड अप ऑफ डिफरेंट कॉम्पोनेंट्स. ये हमारे लिए बहुत जरूरी है. फॉर एंथ्रोपोलॉजी इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज हियर यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ एनी सिस्टम वर्क. लिख लो साइड में, कोई भी सिस्टम हो, कोई भी आपका बॉडी का पार्ट भी एक सिस्टम ही है, राइट? सो यू मे थिंक दैट दिस आई लैशेज हैज नो रोल, राइट? नहीं, हम लड़कियों के लिए तो बहुत है इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है. बट लेट्स जस्ट से नेल्स, ठीक है? एनीथिंग, एनी इनसिग्निफिकेंट पार्ट ऑफ योर बॉडी जो आपको लगता है कि ये ज्यादा सिग्निफिकेंस है, उसका भी बहुत मेजर रोल है, वो हमको नहीं पता. सो इन अ सिस्टम एवरी पार्ट्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट. हाउएवर अगर ब्रेन में कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो जाए तो मर जाओगे, राइट? जैसे कुछ क्रोमोसोमल एब्रिवेशन इज अ परफेक्ट एग्जांपल. During DNA replication, if there is some altercation in the structural position, वो अगर जो आपका DNA, आपका जो एलील है वो थोड़ा अलग सा हो जाए, तो फिर बीमारी हो जाएगी, सिंड्रोम्स हो जाएगा. So every parts are important. We are not denying that, but not every parts are that important, right? आप देखो, अगर आपका हाथ कट जाता है तब भी आप सर्वाइव करोगे, योर लेग्स कट जाएगा, सर्वाइव करोगे. लेकिन अगर आपका हार्ट काम करना बंद हो जाएगा तो क्या आप सर्वाइव करोगे? नहीं. सिमिलरली दिस क्लासरूम इज इंपॉर्टेंट, बट व्हाट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट? स्टूडेंट्स एंड टीचर. स्टूडेंट्स नहीं होगा तो टीचर नहीं होगा, टीचर नहीं होगा तो स्टूडेंट्स नहीं होंगे. बट डेफिनेटली इफ आई एम टीचिंग हियर तो ये पेन भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. टेक्निकल पर्सन जो आके क्लासेस लगाते हैं वो भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्लासरूम क्लीन ना हो वो भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. बट इसको ऐसे समझो, अगर लेट जैसे स्टूडेंट्स ही आना बंद कर देंगे क्लासेस में तो मेरा कोई रोल रह गया? नहीं. अगर मैं नहीं रहूंगी तो आप नहीं आओगे. तो कुछ चीज तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. सो फंक्शनलिज्म थ्योरी, because this is the functionalism theory, that's why I'm explaining so deep structure. It is very simple. You need to remove your ego in your life. Whenever you are preparing for UPSC, you just understand that everything is important. हिस्ट्री भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, ज्योग्राफी भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, एथिक्स भी, सारे सब्जेक्ट्स इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट इसमें कुछ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होगा, वो क्या है? मेरे हिसाब से ऑप्शनल्स है। 500 मार्क्स का खेल है ये, राइट? सो आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि ऐसे एथिक्स ये सब नहीं है, सारे इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट जो मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया, ऑप्शंस कैन बी गेम चेंजर, और आपको थोड़ा पॉइंट समझना है, तो दैट इज व्हाट वी अंडरस्टैंड. आई ऑलवेज पर्सनली टेक डिसीजंस लाइक दैट. So you need to see that when you people start enjoying books, no, when you start enjoying anthropology and start applying in your life, and that would come naturally. For that you need to know, you need to have white soul as well, I would say. Aap agar you are free from negativities in your thoughts, so nothing will stop you. Nothing will stop you. Okay, so you just have to see that this preparation is like a system. It is made up of different parts or subjects. You people have to give lot of time, but then systematically you need to see कि किस पे कितना टाइम देना है. तो सब अलग इंपॉर्टेंट है, हमारे ब्रदर मदर सब इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट मदर हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है ना, राइट? सो इट इज लाइक दैट. किसी के लिए फादर इंपॉर्टेंट हो सकते हैं, बट आई थिंक पेरेंट्स हमेशा इंपॉर्टेंट होने चाहिए, बिकॉज ऑलवेज रिमेंबर दिस, always remember this, because when you will grow up, when you will have lot of money, they will probably not in a situation to enjoy that. एक तो वो केमिकल्स, हार्मोन्स भी खत्म हो चुके होंगे जहां पे आपको कुछ एंजॉय करने का मन करता है, राइट? तो बी वेरी सॉफ्ट विद योर पेरेंट्स. ऑल्दो आई हैड, ये मुझे मुझे सबको ही बोलना होता है, जो भी इंडियन, लाइक एवरीबडी, आई वुड से बहुत इजी नहीं है. आई ऑल्सो हैव लॉट ऑफ कन्फ्रंटेशन विद माई पेरेंट्स, बट फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग ओनली, फ्रॉम ग्रेजुएशन ओनली, फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग ओनली, हम लोगों को ग्रेजुएशन से थोड़ा समझ लेना चाहिए दैट वी आर नाउ मेच्योर इनफ. वी हैव टू टेक आवर पेरेंट्स इमोशन सीरियसली, बिकॉज जब आप बड़े हो जाओगे, जब आप उनको कुछ देना चाहोगे, वो प्रोबेबली शायद आपके साथ नहीं होंगे, या वो हेल्दी नहीं होंगे. ओके, सो बी वेरी नाइस टू देम एवरी टाइम. गलत होते हैं, उनका जनरेशन गैप है, उनकी थॉट्स अलग है, बट ठीक है, एक्सेप्ट करो. और अगर बहुत ज्यादा, जैसे आई एम वेरी रेबेलियस, ओके, बट स्टिल आई वुड से मैं उनसे बात नहीं करती, ओके, बट आई डोंट हर्ट देम इन अ वे, एंड इट विल कम बैक टू यू, बिकॉज इट इज कर्मा. इंडियन फिलोसफी में हम बात करेंगे. You have to give debt to your parents. So when you will understand these concepts like this, it will be easier. Now I hope you people got clarity with structure. Structure is made up of different parts and everything has specific role to play. And further we will decide कि किसका role important है, किसका नहीं. सिंपल सी बात है, हार्ट अगर सिस्टम से चला जाएगा तो कुछ भी काम का नहीं रह गया. तो जो आपके इंपॉर्टेंट सब्जेक्ट्स है, जो आपके इंपॉर्टेंट लोग हैं, जैसे मैंने आपके पेरेंट्स को बोला, उनको मत हर्ट करो, उनको मत जाने दो, उनको प्यार से रखो, राइट? तो वो किसी भी एप्लीकेशन में आप अप्लाई कर सकते हो. टैलकट पार्सन, बहुत सारे थिंकर्स हैं, लिखना चाहते हो तो लिख लो, क्योंकि ये इंपॉर्टेंट एंथ्रोपोलॉजी है. टैलकट पार्सन is talking on this structure functionalism. Neil Semmelser, Neilssemmelser, Neil Semmelser, Redcliffe Brown, Malinowski. Okay, you people want me to write. वैसे I would be teaching in advance. Talcott Parson, Neil Semmelser, Malinowski, R. Brown. ये कुछ सारे थिंकर है जो सिस्टम्स के ऊपर बात करते हैं. We'll talk about later. ठीक है, but to understand system you need to have basic understanding of social structure. ठीक है, social structure is arrangement of relationship to each other. This arrangement help for the smooth functioning of the society. ठीक है, social organization तो मैंने पहले भी explain कर दिया. So like rules and regulation, is the way by which the activities of different parts of society are organized. Okay, so ये class कैसे organized है ना, तो बस तो उससे social order maintain है. So the arrangement of the activities of the individual and groups in the society is social organization. The social structure is the arrangement of person in different social institutions, while social organization is the arrangement of these activities. Okay, so this is it. Now ethnography, please write down ethnography. Ethnography क्या है? ये एक simple holistic description है of particular culture. So for example, I am an ethnographer. Okay, I conducted research with respect to Pasmanda Muslims in India, and I have taken Delhi as my place. Okay, so my universe of study was Delhi. So I lived in Muslim areas. I'm still now living over there. Okay, so it is like I have spent 7 to 8 years there and understanding and observing. So I'm participating, and then I am doing like ethnography. Ethnography is I'm trying to understand Muslim culture with respect to some research question that was casteism. So ethnographer क्या करते हैं? They live in that particular area for a longer period of time to have nuanced understanding of that culture. ओके, एथनोग्राफी हम और भी डीपली पढ़ेंगे, बट इसमें आप मैलिनोस्की को जरूर कोट करोगे, कूलर रिंग सेरेमनी. एथनोग्राफी, मैलिनोस्की, cooler ceremony. Nowadays, we are using quantitative and qualitative both. Quantitative is like with numbers, how many people, variables related. Okay. And qualitative, it is like I am doing interview. Okay. I'm having discussions. So this is part of your topic 8. ये हम बाद में discuss करेंगे in detail. This is your research methodology. So this you people will study brief ethnographic studies. ठीक है? Herodotus and all, ये आप खुद से पढ़ोगे. Guys, I'm not going to talk on all this. ये तो आपका एक पूरा का पूरा NCERT का chapters है. World from the life of travelers, something like that. History from the travelers, something. Okay? तो इसको आप पढ़ लेंगे. L.H. Morgan, do write down these names, okay? League of Iroquois, L.H. Morgan, Edward Bernard Taylor. He interviewed many Iroquois people, collect data on their dance form, religious beliefs, customs, traditions. Okay? Do that. The beginning of 20th century, river, Toda, all this you will have to just read. This is a coloring ceremony picture. Trobriand Islanders में Malinowski was doing research. He is a Malinowski. He is very famous in anthropology because he had actually reflected deeply that how one can do participant observation. Okay, he had very systematically explained the methods. So he's not only in anthropology famous, it's very famous in social sciences. Okay, so ये आपको करना है. In India, definitely S.C. Roy. ये आप पढ़ेंगे Munda in their country. The father of fieldwork tradition in anthropology. Casper Bronislaw, Casper Malinowski. UPSC did several times asked question on Malinowski coloring ceremony. Then L.K. Krishna Iyer. L.K. Krishna Iyer is considered as accidental sociologist and anthropologist, but later on he was invited to head the first department of anthropology in the University of Calcutta in 1920. He is considered as the father of Indian ethnology. So we have got question for 20 markers on the contribution of L.K. Anand Krishna Iyer and also on the contribution of S.C. Roy, because this is your topic 4 in paper 2, contribution of Indian anthropologist. Raj Lakshmi study of Molukurumbus of Kapala. Do write down all this because UPSC did ask you question on case studies. Okay? तो इसमें जितनी भी केस स्टडीज है उसमें आपको आना चाहिए सारा. They will directly ask you question. Tribes and caste. Okay? So now I think I have finished this chapter. No, ethnology is there. Now write down ethnology. So ethnology is the comparative study of races and cultures. Comparative study of races and culture. So in Britain, social anthropology was earlier known as ethnology. So ethnologists classify people on the basis of their distribution and it looks at people from ethic point of view. Ethnology can also be called as historical study. It is different from ethnography. While ethnography requires primary data and close relationship with people, ethnology does not require different direct interaction. Ethnology can be based on different ethnographic studies. Okay, is narrative, historical. Ethnology जरूर लिख लीजिएगा because you might can get a question on short notes, ethnology and ethnography. So whenever we are reading, we always should be focused. We should be thinking कि UPSC इस पे क्या question पूछ सकता है. So ethnography and ethnology. So let's us sum up. So this summary you people can read. Okay, everything is there. Read. Now you people can see that how I am speeding up my basics lectures. So initially when I was teaching chapter 1, I was really slow and in fact I did not accepted or started classes before I thought that you should have little understanding on anthropology on your own. Okay, then I have started teaching. So this in this way what is happening? You people are able to understand it better. Okay. So fine. Now I'll give you a break and after break we will do your essay ka analysis.